It is my greatest irrational fear, a serpent slithering neath where the business is happening. And you know, life's full of ups and downs, but apparently if you have enough of them, you can break a record. And sometimes a pitiful creature just needs help getting something off of its head. Let's take a look on the bright side. And welcome to the bright side. I'm your host, Bob Herzog, and all right, let's be honest, I never really hit my mark when I do this little stroll anyway, and it's even less likely right now. Ryan is my director. Ryan, can you help me get to my spot?
Yeah, Bob, go a little forward.
Forward? Forward.
A little more. That works.
Okay, about here? That's actually a bit closer than I normally come. Hey, Shelby, Sam, can you come in here and help me get this off of my...
Thanks, guys. You're the best. Now, was any of that really necessary? No, it was not. But it served as a recreation of an event that happened recently in Miami Township, Claremont County, Ohio. Let's take a look. Caught on police body camera, the Miami Township Police Department posted this video. Officers were called after a raccoon was spotted with a can stuck on its head. Officer Hunter Willoughby was able to track down the animal, safely capture him, and after just a few moments, he removed the can from the raccoon's head. Do you like raccoon or raccoon? Either way, as the furry guy scampers back into the woods, watch out, first got to hold him by his tail. Like, hey, let's get him over to the grassy knoll here. Watch this, watch. He gets down. He's like, okay, I'm going to get back into the woods, wait. And he turns around and he gives the officer a look as if to say, thanks, man. Thanks so much. And now he's going to go into the woods. And he's like, hey, I just want to say thanks again for helping get that thing off of my head. Just like Shelby and Sam did for me. And how about another one where an animal that was in trouble got the help it needed? You probably saw this fella. He went viral last month. A Shih Tzu just covered in so much hair he was barely recognizable. Well, thanks to Vicky and Carl Warden, he has a new home now. Not to mention a new hairstyle and a new name, Logan. Logan still has some walking and breathing problems from carrying all the hair. Look how much hair came off of him. But he also has a couple of quirks his owners find endearing. His favorite place to hang out is Carl's closet. And he can only wag his tail one way, at least for right now, probably due to just how the hair weighed on it for such a long time. But he wags it a lot and is happy. Well, from a hairy dog to an electric kitty. Did you see this? No. It's not a crazy animatronic giant robot cat. It's a really Blade Runner looking billboard turning heads in Tokyo, Japan. The 3D cat appears sort of playfully perched above one of the city's busiest railway stations. And this, again, is just an animation test of that high resolution screen. These larger-than-life displays are becoming more common as billboard technology gets more and more lifelike. First time I saw that video, I literally thought it was a great big robot cat. Crazy. And while that billboard has everyone saying meow in Tokyo, in New York City's Times Square, people are buzzing about this. And this is no video. Real deal here. A New York City police officer who is a bee specialist responded to a call of thousands of bees swarming around a hot dog stand. Officer Darren Mays posted this video to Twitter of him working to trap the swarm. He caught roughly 25,000 honeybees in Times Square. He's specially trained in beekeeping for calls like this. Officer Mays even keeps a hive on the roof of his precinct in Queens. The department says this swarm was moved off to a safe location. And now to a bright side story that is not so bright, but rather a thing that causes me fright. A 5-foot-long serpent was all up in the pipes whilst a poor man was sitting. This makes me say yipes. Undercarriage exposed when python did spring. This Austrian man felt quite the sting. The snake it had slid through his drain one fine morn. I try not to think about what might have torn. It bit him right there in the place where you think, all because it came up in a place that does stink. The python belongs to a neighbor, it seems, and all this gives me the most unpleasant dreams. Making it a poem helped me process my fear. But if that's me, I just don't know that I could ever use the toilet again. I need some kind of rear view mirror, like, look at it. Anyway, it's terrible. But now, since our minds are already in the potty, let's just keep them right there. Regardless of whether you call it a GIF or a GIF or whatever, and it's not really animated right now, but point is being made all the same. That's a kid with diarrhea going down a water slide. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention came up with this little gem. It's a beaut. It's part of a CDC campaign warning people that one person with diarrhea can contaminate the entire pool. They made this one too. Lovely. And a lot of time obviously went into these rather explosive graphics. So please remember these CDC guidelines. Stay out of the water if you are sick with the diarrhea. Don't swallow the pool water. Take kids on bathroom breaks and check diapers every hour. And bottom line, don't poop in the pool. Lord willing, everyone in West Virginia was following those guidelines recently. Natural Light teamed up with some fearless West Virginians to make the world's longest plastic water slide. The 2,000-foot slide was emblazoned with stars, stripes, bald eagles, and beer cans. Guinness record reps were there to witness the insanity. The previous record holder was from the country of Jordan. Now, if you prefer your record stay a bit drier, a California man is teetering on breaking his old milestone. 50 years ago, Chuck Walker set the record for the longest seesaw. And he says he's been thinking about breaking it most of his life. Well, now, after training, he says he's in shape and he's taking another crack at it. He's attempting to surpass his record of 216 consecutive hours, which was set in 1971. The attempt will run through a day after we're taping this, July 10th.
50 years ago, I set the record, and I've been thinking about breaking it most of my life. So I'm in shape, and it's going to be fun for all my kids.
Now again, that record, 216 hours. 216 hours. And I'll find out sometime, as again, I'm recording this on July 9th. We'll know tomorrow, July 10th, whether or not he broke it. Now, it should be noted that Mike Hartshorn is on the other end of that teeter-totter. Let's not forget about him. Also, it was in 1971 that Bobby and Cindy Brady tried to break the very same record on an episode of The Brady Bunch. And speaking of things that came originally from the 70s, for decades, Star Wars have captivated millions of sci-fi fans, myself included. But now a new batch of artists is adding unique style to the Star Wars universe.
Japanese animation inspired a lot of the people at Lucasfilm over the years. We loved the idea of seeing Star Wars expressed in that way.
How super cool and fun is this? Star Wars Visions is a collection of short films by 7 Japanese anime studios, bringing their signature styles to new stories set in that galaxy far, far away. All 9 episodes of Star Wars Visions are due to hit Disney Plus on September 22nd. Yeah, that's Debbie Gibson singing Lost in Your Eyes. Yeah, topped the charts when she was 18. Now she's re-recorded the tune, which she wrote and produced, and duetting on that bad boy with, you know who that is? You know who that is? That's a new kid. That's Joey McIntyre. The pair is set to headline a limited engagement at the Venetian Resort Las Vegas this fall. Gibson's first album of original songs in more than 20 years is due out August 20th. Now, unfortunately, the timing won't work out for these folks, but workers at a restaurant in Louisville, Kentucky hit the jackpot when it comes to good bosses. The boss closing up shop for a week and flying his entire staff to Las Vegas as a thank you for their hard work. These signs are hanging on the doors of the ramen house. They read, "Sorry, we are closed this week. Our employees have worked so hard and diligently through all the crazy times we went through. They deserve a break." Owner of the restaurant, Jonathan Ham, says this is the least he could do.
All my people love working for this restaurant, and they believe in it, and they all have that accountability where they kind of feel like it's part of them, and that's what I wanted to instill. And, this is just a thank you gesture.
Everyone who couldn't go on the trip, by the way, was given a cash bonus. Now, speaking of people who love where they work, a convenience store right across the river from kind of where I'm standing right now has become the center of attention for ice cream lovers. People from all over are coming, hours away in some cases, to get a cone at the Ameristop in Bellevue, Kentucky. My friend Alexa Helwig shows us why it's so popular.
Guys, would you believe this small Ameristop store in Bellevue sells soft serve ice cream? It has new flavors all the time, and that's what keeps drawing people.
I got the famous chocolate peanut butter swirl.
I got the chocolate peanut butter swirl.
What's been the most popular flavor so far?
Peanut butter and chocolate, hands down.
Magal Patel has sold more soft serve in the last 2 months than the last 2 years. His Ameristop store in Bellevue, it doesn't look like a fancy ice cream shop.
So you go any other Ameristop these days, you see they don't have ice cream machine at all.
But his store has 2, and the product speaks for itself.
So it's like magical ice cream. It's just delicious.
Customers like Christy Blair have stopped in here for years. But Trace Bauer and her daughter Nora drove from Anderson.
I read about this on Facebook and the Chowhound Cincinnati group, and I wanted to see what the fuss was about.
Chowdown Cincinnati has a following of more than 50,000 people. It's a page where people post about local food. So Magal started showing people pictures of his soft serve flavors.
Proves that if you have a good product, people will come.
Magal's face is now all over Facebook. It's a trend to take a selfie with the owner and post it to the Chowdown Cincinnati page.
It was like kind of a good moment. Like I felt like celebrity. Like anywhere I go, people are like, hey, you're that guy from Chowdown Cincinnati who's selling a lot of soft serve ice cream, lots of flavors.
It's not just the soft serve that keeps bringing in customers from all over the city. Magal's smile and personality continue to leave a lasting impression.
He's very personable. He's anybody who walks in the door is not a stranger. So that's also another good thing about this place. It's like when you walk in, if first time or 10,000th time, he treats you like a friend.
The convenience store has been a hidden gem for years, but it's become a local attraction. People are driving up to 2 hours just to try the soft serve ice cream. Reporting in Bellevue, Alexa Helwig, Local 12 News.
Magal is the man. I love that. You know, a lot of happy kids coming out of that Ameristop with those big old ice cream cones. And we're going to let the cool kids take over for a bit here, if you don't mind. A 7-year-old cancer survivor is on a mission to help others. Trip Hughes recently beat cancer. He's been fighting it since he was 4 years old. Well, his birthday's coming up, and a lot of people are asking him, well, what can we do to celebrate? So Trip's asking for toys, but not for himself. He says he wants to give them to other sick kids in the hospital.
I just hope this inspires other kids to also do other helpful things.
How about that? So far, Trip has donated 2,500 toys and $6,000 to Children's Mercy Hospital in Kansas City. And would you believe you can make a similar difference with pig power? This is Anna Kaito posing at her 4th grade Market Day project 5 years ago. That project would eventually become a big-time fundraising effort for Cincinnati Children's Hospital. And as Brightside Brad Underwood explains, Anna's about to hit a huge milestone.
I like this one. It's got like a smiley face and it got a little tail.
The dining room at the Kaito house is where the work happens, shaping and creating these little piggies.
It like started off kind of being like a really small thing that not many people knew about. It was just me. And now I have so many pigs.
Anna's pig farm began as a way to raise money for Children's Hospital, a place very special to the Kaito family.
They saved my life back in 2015 when I had orbital cellulitis and an abscess in my right brow bone. And they gave me an emergency surgery, and I spent my week there.
Since her stay, she's collected board games and toys for the hospital, but the last few years, she's been making these clay pigs. Lots of them.
I like the ones that have little mustaches. I love them.
This is Anna and her brother Wyatt back in 2017. Since then, the two have gotten some help on the farm by hosting house parties and visiting schools.
I've met so many kids, and they just love it so much. It's so fun to watch them create things. Like I've seen carrots and dogs. It's so fun.
To watch her grow and share her story and to be able to speak in front of hundreds of people
And to get the attention of a classroom of kids is pretty amazing at such a young age.
Now, the once over-the-moon goal is within reach.
The goal is $10,000, and I made it when I was in 5th grade. So I'm almost there. I think we only have like another $200, $300 left.
Think about that. $10,000.
She went from a kid in 3rd grade to a sophomore in high school who still spends the majority of her free time being an advocate for Children's Hospital.
And that won't change even after the goal is met.
It just makes my day whenever I can help make a difference in the world.
One pig at a time. In Delhi Township, Brad Underwood, Local 12 News.
And we've got time for one more to inspire. Neighbors in a Massachusetts community are showing support for a boy with cancer, one flower at a time. He planted a sunflower outside his home, but a thief plucked it from the ground, stole it. Kelly O'Neill reports on how neighbors responded.
Turning onto Laurelwood Drive in North Attleboro.
Sunflowers represent light in the darkness.
Bright yellow sunflowers in full bloom welcome you, but these are special.
Brings me lots of joy.
Last spring, 9-year-old Braden Tryon planted a seed with his friends just to see if it would grow, and it did.
They were so happy. It's just something that he would check out and look at and feed and water whenever we left each week for Hasbro for chemo. So it was a distraction.
Braden is fighting cancer.
Every time I look at the sunflowers before clinic, I think that I'm going to do great today. And then I come home from clinic thinking I did great.
And when a thief caught on Ring doorbell camera ripped his flowers out from the ground,
he was devastated, and he was having a tough week anyway with his treatment, so it came at a really bad time.
They were nowhere to be found. His neighbors weren't having it.
My daughter and I helped him look, and we couldn't find it. I was as heartbroken as he was because we watched the sunflower grow every day too.
But instead of tracking down the culprit,
we just pulled it together the next day and went out and got sunflowers, and we wanted to plant them down here because we didn't want the little boy to be any more heartbroken.
This is Sonny Jr.
His neighbors saved the day, not only replacing the plant, but lining sunflowers up and down the street.
If I have extra in my car, I just pull up to a neighbor. Want some for your mailbox? Several neighbors have made, multiple trips to the stores to pick them up.
Like when they supported me, it was very helpful and nice.
Braden has 1.5 years left of treatment. It's this kind of support that's making it just a little bit brighter.
It's overwhelming. It's emotional. It definitely helps our family. It keeps us going. There's a lot of times where, childhood cancer's just a dark valley. And coming down the street now, it's just a joy.
Braden is a super cool kid. And here's one thing I take away from that too. I wanted to be so angry that somebody stole that sunflower, and I am. But nobody focused on that. They focused on how they could make Braden feel better. And they did it. They tried to look on the bright side. Share this video around a little bit, because maybe someone you know needs to do the same thing. Take a look on that bright side.